crossover edition of Locked On Sooners and Locked On.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks again for making Locked On Vols and Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers for tuning and subscribing to the shows. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let me hijack this real quick. Your team every day. Before I forget, we just talked about Tennessee's offensive line. Tell me about Oklahoma's offensive line. Doing some research, and again, I don't watch all the games.
Right.
True freshman starting at left tackle, and then is your right tackle in concussion protocol? And if so, another true freshman at right tackle? Are they bookend right now with true freshman tackles?
Right now, we are playing. It's a great starting point. That was actually one thing I was going to point out, so thank you for asking that. Yeah, we're playing two true freshmen. So Michael Fasusi came in. He was one of the top tackles in the country when we brought him in, and he did enough growth immediately to fight for that left tackle spot. The starting left tackle got hurt first game, like six plays in. He got hurt, and he's still kind of wobbling. So we don't know. I don't know if Jake Sexton's going to even come back this year. And because of that, Fasusi got thrusted in, and he was fantastic. He hurt his ankle late in the Michigan game, but he had a fantastic game there. And he was out for about a week or so, and he's been playing, but he's not been 100%, but he's playing a little bit. He's playing good enough, right? But you could see some of the freshman weaknesses. Right tackle-wise, we brought in a transfer in Derek Simmons. He's dealt with concussions most of his career. That's kind of been a problem of his. He kind of had a light one at the beginning. I think it was in camp or the beginning of the season. And then he got a concussion in practice recently. And because of that, you got to see right tackle Ryan Fogier, who was a top 10 tackle in the class last year. He got his snaps. Now, he played really good in this last game. And I had to give him props for being a freshman and going out there and feeling comfortable like he did. So for Oklahoma, yeah, we're playing two true freshmen at tackle. We've got a redshirt freshman at left guard next to Fasusi. So we're going back youth. The transfer Michael at the center. Right guard is a transfer for Bechiwewu, who's been here 2 years, but he's a redshirt junior. This is his second season, so he's got some. He's actually got some experience with us. And then, of course, another freshman at right tackle. So it's interesting. The funny thing is, when John Mateer actually sat in the pocket to throw, for the most part, he really wasn't pressured. I think there was 7 pressures in the game against Ole Miss out of the 80-something snaps that we had to do, which is a lot for us. We normally don't snap that much on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, like that. Actually, offensive side, sorry, you only snapped like 40-something times. So he had 7 snaps on 40-something. Our defense played 80 snaps, and that's not common for us. It's been John Mateer, get your eyes up, find your receivers. If he does that, we're fine. But then we also, with this new lineup on the offensive line, we found a run game. That's when we found it against South Carolina. We didn't have that most of the season. We figured it out in that game.
Yeah, man, like that's something that's shocking to me. And again, like I'm not a Sooners expert, but I, like everybody else, and that's why I always laugh at the national perspective, with Tennessee in the offseason, like, oh, they're going to be 4-8. It's like, well, have you seen this defense? Again, the defense sucks now, but in July it didn't, right?
It did.
So for me, I'm looking at Oklahoma and I'm like, okay, so Jovantae Barnes, or that's his name, right? Like, I remember him last year. He's a pretty good back. And then I was like, you went out and got Jaydn. I know he missed 24, but, man, he was great in 23. Like, John Mateer, man, this offense, this run game is going to be great. Those two guys, and I don't know why, but have completely not factored in at all. And then you're right. 2 weeks ago, it's a true freshman that had, 100 yards and a touchdown on 19 carries. And then last week, a sophomore, 9 carries, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. Where does this run game come from, and why have those two guys as veterans not panned out at all?
So this is the second week for Tory Blaylock to get 100 yards. He got 100 yards against Temple as well. And so he's been emerging in practice for a bit. The bigger thing was we dealt with a lot of injuries coming in the summer. So Jaydn Ott hurt his shoulder. And as you mentioned, 24, he was basically limited to an ankle injury. And to me, he had the yips. He was scared that he was going to hurt his shoulder again, and that was going to factor in the way that he was able to play, and it just didn't work out. I remember him at the presser saying the difference between being at Cal and being at Oklahoma is here they care. And I think that care is starting to kick him in the butt now of, hey, either you give a bleep about playing here or We're not going to be playing around with you. Tory Blaylock showed up. He's been healthy about 90% of the time. He hurt his shoulder right after the first game, but he's been good the entire time. And then Xavier Robinson was dealing with a hamstring injury, but he's the one that ran 400-something yards against Alabama in that big upset game last year. And so X-Rob, we knew he had it. He's big. He's a bigger kid. He's about 6'2", 6'3", like 240 is when he came in. He was dropping his weight down to like 215, 220-ish. I think he's still running at around 225, 230. But he's got enough speed at a 4.5 to where when he finds a hole, he's gone. And so the confidence of a running back saying, this is the hole I'm going to go for it, is what Oklahoma's been chasing. But the line's been making enough holes. The backs weren't seeing it. Barnes, he wasn't just hitting the hole right. He just wasn't finding the right holes that we noticed. And honestly, I suspect he's probably going to redshirt and go ahead and transfer out for his last year because he's played all 4 years. This year's only played 4 games, but he's played every year here at Oklahoma since he's been here as a true freshman. And so it's been just amazing to see those two young guys emerge. And I'm hoping that that's our running back room going forward. Just run those two nonstop. If we would have ran more against Ole Miss, ask any Sooner fan, they'll tell you we probably could have closed that game out because we were finding success. You get the big run, and then the next possession, X-Rob's finding holes and going, but it's like Ben Arbuckle is dedicated to trying to figure out how to get Jovantae going. Stop handing him the ball. It's okay. Teams know he's not going to really run it, so they're going to take advantage of that.
If you would have told me back in July that those two running backs would not have a combined 150 yards 8 games in or whatever it is, I'd call you a liar. Like, yep. It's mind-blowing to me. But other options, younger options, and so you're exactly right. Like, despite a new look, younger offensive line right now with the banged up quarterback, or at least, coming off an injury, you're finding a run game, which is, better late than never. And, Tennessee, who's has some issues defending the runs at times this year, certainly will have to look out for that.
Yeah, and especially the SEC. It's one of the things I realize more and more that we're here is you got to establish the run and you got to eat clock. The more clock you eat, the better off you are. Last week, Ole Miss had the ball for 35 minutes. When I was talking to Stephen Willis on Locked On Ole Miss, he's like, that's not normal for Lane Kiffin. We don't ever have the ball for 30 minutes.
Kiffin goes fast, not as fast as Heupel, but like Tennessee never wins a time of possession, but like Lane Kiffin is about as in Levy, about as close to Heupel as anybody.
Exactly. And so, but Kiffin changed his entire game plan. He went huddle and he sat there 15 seconds, then he dispersed. I'm wondering if Josh Heupel would do something similar, even though you're at home, the weather should be favorable. So there's no weather factor in which that's what Lane Kiffin was leveraging, was the weather on his side. Yeah. Smart, especially when you play with the speed and the confidence they do. But defensively for you all, with all those changes, who's the person that Oklahoma needs to keep an eye out on that defensive line when we're going to try to run the ball? Is it that bad now?
When you're trying to run the ball, I don't know. I mean, probably Jackson Moy in the interior. Again, Tennessee's just not been very good defending the run this year. It's unfortunate. I can tell you who on the defensive front you got to look out for, like just in general, and pass rusher. I mean, Tennessee's got some Leos that can flat out get after it, and Joshua Joseph's NFL guy, Jordan Ross, young guy, former 5-star, Caleb Herring, all those guys will play. And they'll be on the field at the same time. They'll mix some things up in that regard. And you've got Don Bailey, who can play DN. He'll slide inside a D tackle. He's been a pretty good pass rusher this year. Tennessee's got a number of guys that can really get after the quarterback. But to answer your question about who to look out for in terms of defending the run for Tennessee, it's not been very good this year. So I think that speaks volumes right there.
Yep, that tells me everything I need to know. And so hopefully for us, we'll take advantage of that. Let's get a final prediction. What do you think this score is going to end up being, Garrett?
Gosh, man, first time this week I've actually thought about a score. So as I always say, I reserve the right to change this later in the week, or like the score. I'm going to have Tennessee winning because, I think Oklahoma's a good team, but like I think the Neyland factor is real. I think Neyland Stadium carries a lot of weight. Tennessee's lost to Georgia, and only Georgia since the 2022 season, since 2022 on at Neyland Stadium. So first night game as well. It's hard to believe this is the first night game at Neyland all year long.
Wow.
Dark mode. It's going to be a show. I know you're not going. You're not. You're.
I will be there. I fly in Friday. So yes,
it is going to be a show. Like spotlight running through the tee, get there early, enjoy it. Like, it's going to be fun. So I think there's going to be some added juice to this. And plus, Josh Heupel wants this game more than any game on the schedule. He is the competitive guy. He loves Oklahoma. But just like last year, he wants to beat Oklahoma. And he's going to do anything he can to beat Oklahoma. And he does not like the Stoops family. Hates the Stoops family. I know Stoops didn't run the show anymore, or are they? But Heupel wants this game more than anything. So FanDuel's got it 3.5, 57.5. Give me Tennessee. I think I'm going to hit the over. Actually, am I going to hit the over? Yeah, Tennessee defense is really bad. Give me the over. Give me Tennessee winning 30-31. Ole Miss put up 34, right? Give me Tennessee 34, Oklahoma 31. I think it's going to be a tight one. I think Tennessee's going to find a way in the end at home to win.
I'm actually close to you on that. I think Oklahoma's defense, weather being a little bit more favorable, bounces back and doesn't stop, but slows down this super fast offense. But I think Tennessee today, late in the week, I have reserved the right to switch my pick, but I think Tennessee ends up closing this one out. I think it's going to be 30-27. And it's going to be the first time Tennessee's defense holds a team under 30 points in the SEC. I don't know if it's real, but I reserve the right to change. But right now, I think it's a 3-point game, too. I don't think the spread is covered right now. I think Oklahoma covers the spread for the first time on the road in a while. But yeah, this is going to be
technically Tennessee's defense held Alabama to under 30 because Tennessee's offense gave up 9 points, but
fair.
It's all bad. It's still bad. Still bad.
Very good point. I didn't think about it that way, but you're right. So, all right, make sure you check out Eric Cade over there at Locked On Vols. Check out me and John over at Locked On Sooners. We appreciate y'all joining us today. Have a good weekend, and we will see you all afterwards on this Locked On crossover edition on the Podcast Network.
Let's go.
Boomer Sooner.